How will you describe your husband before this tragedy, before this accident, in terms of his personality and his role in the family?
Yeah. His personality, my husband has been a very supportive man, always happy, and then he plays his role perfectly as a husband to me and our daughter, and even to others around us, like the families and friends.
So, now, can you walk us through the moment you heard about the accident? What was your immediate reaction, and what did you see when you first arrived to be with him?
Okay, my immediate reaction when I heard about the accident, I was a bit, because it was his friend that called me that very day, not anybody from the company he was involved in the accident with, or maybe the hospital. It was his friend that called me, his very close friend. And when he called me, I was like, I didn't even know. I was just even joking with him, as usual. And the next thing he said, I'm with your husband. And I said, what are you people doing together? Like this time of the day, what are you doing together? And before my husband left the hospital, before he left office that day, he still spoke with me. I was even joking with him. I said, thank God, you even closed today on time. I said, good stuff. I was still thinking within me that this man is supposed to be home. Just as I was about to pick my phone and call him, that was when the friend's call came in. And I said, what happened? He said, with your husband, he had an accident involved. And I said, which accident? He said, no, don't worry. Don't panic. It's just a bike accident. Just for him to come, because it was late already and I have a baby with me. So I was like, no, let me come, let me start coming. He said, no, don't come. Just calm down, he's fine. And I said, well, are you sure he's fine? He said, yes. So don't worry. I said, okay, so which why you're saying I shouldn't come? I won't, I don't know how to go about it. He said, don't worry, I'm assure you that it's fine, it's just bike. I said, okay. He said, okay, you know what? Let me place the call on a video. He called me on a video call. I looked at my husband from up to down. There was no bruises. So I was a bit calm. I said, okay, but why is he not talking to me? This is my husband. He should be able to talk to me. He said his bike can't. He said, no, they just gave him a first aid treatment, the injection and everything. So he's trying to relax. That's why he's not speaking. I said, okay, are you sure? So I was at home. I didn't even leave that very day because it was late and I have a little baby with me. So in fact, I didn't sleep all through. So early in the morning, as early as 4:35, I woke up, started packing my baby things, the stuff, and since I have a little baby, I need to go with maybe the diaper, the food, and all. So I left. On getting to Iyanopaja, I had people talking about an accident that occurred a day before that day. And immediately my mind was telling me that, are you sure it's not your husband? So when I got to the hospital, I saw his staff, people from his office, like they were much at the hospital compound, and when they saw me, all of them they stopped talking. So as at that moment, I told myself that it's confirmed. Probably it is about the accident that they were talking about. It's my husband that is involved in that accident that they were discussing at Iyanopaja, where I wanted to take BRT bus. So immediately I stepped into the hospital. I saw my husband. He was on oxygen. He was on oxygen. They rolled his body with a white clothes all around. I couldn't, well, I thank God, glory to God for giving me the courage and the strength because not to do what I'm not even supposed to do. And
I could imagine.
That was it.
Since then, you've been by his side through his treatment.
Yes, sir.
And recovery. What has the experience been like, both for you and the family?
Well, it's been very tough. It's been very tough because I would say I got married to him. It was 2 years. In fact, it's not even just 2 years after our marriage. That was when he was involved in the accident. And I have a little baby with me. She was 6 months. And I have my business. I'm into fashion. So It was as a result of the accident that I actually closed down my place of business because I had to come back home. I start doing my work from home. I have to be with him. 247, I have to be with him. Because when he was discharged, in fact, right from the hospital, he had already given up on himself. So I need to be, in fact, more closer than I used to be to my husband, because I know he needs me. I need to always encourage him, even if at times I am, even me myself, it's not as if I have the courage, but I still need to let him know that, give him hope that, sometimes if I see, there are times I'll wake up at the middle of the night, maybe I'll see my husband is head bent, gone, with a deep thought. So I would just encourage him. So just come, you'll be fine. So there was a time, in fact, I used to tell him, I said, see, I didn't marry you like this, and I know you will not remain like this. I know you will not remain like this. So it has not really been easy. It has not really been easy.
I can imagine it must have been really, really tough. Could you recall maybe one of the toughest moments that you had or experienced during that time?
The toughest moment? Well, I'll say the toughest moment throughout this scenario was when he almost committed suicide. I just stepped out on that day to get something, and I left him at home with my little girl. And when I came, he was in the bedroom there, about to take IPO.
Wow.
So I told him, I said, why? I said, you are wicked. So, I was aggressive. Like, how would you want to do this? Why? Be giving up on yourself? So as at that time, I think I need to be more, I need to be strong for him. I'm always careful of the things I say or, and, do, I restrict myself from some things. When I say restrict myself from some things, in terms of going, going out to do, you don't want to be far from the house, so you should be always around him. So
I can imagine, it's really tough. So sorry to hear that. Let's talk about the financial side. How are you managing the cost of his treatment, especially since the agency that was responsible has failed to provide the necessary support?
Well, it has not been easy as well, because we've been trying to, make sure that his drugs, his treatment is stable, is consistent. The stage he is right now is not the stage whereby you need to toy with his drugs. I had to become even he himself, he had to become a nurse, and even me too, because we need to do some things on our own, dressing and all that. So, and I would say families and friends, the friends they've been helping us out as well. It has not really been easy. That's just the truth. It has not really been. In fact, there was a time in terms of that was the surgery he did at LAGBUS, because we didn't see it coming. According to the TSL, when we told them about it, they said we should go ahead. They are going to support. In fact, it was like a dream. On that day, it was scheduled for his the surgery. We started calling these people. They didn't come, so we now need to start running up and down to get the money for the surgery. And so after the surgery, we borrowed. Some people borrowed us, and after the surgery, that was one of the toughest moments. Among those that borrowed us, I started, we didn't tell, you don't have to, it's not everybody you have to tell that this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. The person was like, money, he needs his money. I had to call the company's representative. I was begging him. I begged him. I said, please, I'm not saying you should just give me this particular amount. And I could even remember that I think the amount I told him was even if just 100,000, just give me, let me just balance. Right now, there is nothing. And we borrowed this money because of this reason. He ignored my message.
That's sad. I know you talked about the personal sacrifices you had to make. I mean, you had to close down your fashion house and had to relocate back home. What are other sacrifices that you have to make personally in order to keep him alive and cared for?
Well, I'll say the personal sacrifice I need to make at times is in terms of, when you have a husband and he has been helping you in terms of maybe the usual thing you do, as he is, there are limits to what he can do. Even when if you notice, when you were able to carry this, I was like, no, leave it, let me. So, but you didn't really understand, but so me, I understand. Wow. So there is limitation to what he can do. So I am the one that would carry the things ordinarily it should help me to do. So these are the sacrifices.
Do you feel abandoned by the authorities responsible for this accident?
Yes, sir. Yes. I feel abandoned.
Let me also ask the impact this has had on your family, seeing a loved one suffer while struggling for you to find the resources to support him. How has this affected you personally, maybe your child or relatives who look up to him?
It has really affected us. Like I said, in terms of my business, I can't, I know the level I was then before this happened when it comes to my business. And then in terms of my daughter, he has been trying as a father, but there are some things too, but although she wouldn't really understand. She wouldn't really understand. So
all right, looking ahead, what does your family need most right now? Medical, financial, or legal support?
What we need right now the most is medical support. That's the key thing I need right now, because I can't continue looking at him suffer like this. Let me use that word, because it has not been easy. Sleeping alone, there's limits to how he can move his body. So most of the times he wake up feeling pains, and I would just have to encourage him that, don't worry, you'll be fine, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. So
if Nigerians watching this interview wanted to help, what will you ask from them?
Like I said, I just want anyone that will be listening to me right now, or I just want them to help. If it is to, in any way the company could just, please, I want my husband to go back to his usual stage that was before the accident. That's just everything it takes, please.
Finally, Mrs. James, if you could speak directly to the officials responsible for this government bus, what will your message be to them today?
My message to them is, well, I would let them know that I'm not happy, and of which they already know. I'm not happy towards their response concerning my husband's health, even right from when he was at the hospital, when the thing was fresh, when the accident just happened. And also, I have a message also for the driver, because he has not, in fact, he hasn't done well at all. And of which I will take the question to the company he's working with. And finally, I want them to please do the needful in terms of taking responsibility for my husband's medical care. I want my husband to be back on his feet again, in terms of every part of his, anything he needs for him, they need to do for him to be fine. Please, they should take responsibility for it.
Thank you so much, Mrs. James. We really appreciate your perspective on this.